Okay, in this video I'm just going to show you how to do a sweep. I'm going to show you how to do the simplest sweep for now, and we will I'll put another video later to show how to do a more complex sweep, probably after Christmas. Okay, right, so to do a sweep we need two things. We need a trajectory and we need a profile. So this is my trajectory, or my path, that I would like my sweep to follow along. Exit out of that. Okay. The next thing I need is a profile. I want to actually put my profile, I want to start my profile on the end of my sweep, one of these end points here. Now to do that, I'm going to need a new plane. If I just turn on my planes to show where they are, you'll see that none of them really line up with that end point. I'm going to need to create some more reference geometry. So if I get the reference geometry plane, I could just click on this plane here and offset it by, I don't know, 20 or it might be 30 millimeters or something like that, and put it up there, and that's kind of in the right place, and it would work. We can still use that. However, what if I actually want to put it right on that end? How would I do that? Let's just exit out that one and come in it again, plane. What I can do is I can select the curve as one of my references, and you see if I do that, it puts it coincident to that curve, i.e. on that curve. And then if I select the point, you will see that I've now got two references. I've got one is my spline, and it's automatically put that to perpendicular, and one of them is my point, and it's put that to coincident. So you can see my new datum plane has been created on that edge there. So if I click OK, and if, for example, I edit that sketch, go back in and twist this one around a bit, something like that, edit that sketch, you'll see that my plane moves as well. That's a really powerful feature that Solidworks has. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to sketch my profile. So go on Sketch, select the plane that I want to sketch on, and line the plane up so you can see it. And then look the way. I want to sketch on that end there, so let's just go for a rectangle. Let's go for a rectangle from the centre. I'm going to pick up my centre point, somewhere there, and create that rectangle. Okay. Last thing we need to do is we can go to Feature. These are all lit up now. We go to Sweep. It asks us for two things. It asks us for a profile, which has already been pre-selected because I already had that square selected, and it asks for a path or a trajectory, and I can select that one there. Now what you'll notice here is that we're having some issues. I created my profile to be pretty big, and my trajectory has some quite sharp corners in it, which actually means that there is interference at this corner, and so on. And that's where the two parts of the geometries are overlapping. So this line here is coming down here, and then this one is coming up here. So you see that's intersecting there. Now we can't have that. If I click OK, it's going to fail. It's not going to let me do that. So I need to exit out of that. I need to decide what I want to do. I can either make my profile smaller, or I need to make my geometry bigger. Because I've got lots of interference, I'm just going to make that profile smaller. Let's click on Smart Dimensions, do it by dimensions. Oops, sorry, I think I misclicked there. Right. Okay, let's start that again. Smart Dimension. Edge out there. Just set that down to 10, maybe. And let's set this one to 20. Now you can see that I've lost my, this centre point here hasn't lined up with the centre point of our line. So what I can do is I can always put those back. I can click on that one, control click on that one, and I can use Add Relationships Coincident. So if ever your parts go out of alignment, you can always edit them to get them back in. Now it's saying here that I'm over constrained. We've got a conflict of things going on. I think what it is that this dimension here, that's dimension something I don't want. Let's delete that. So by deleting that, it allows my coincident relationship to happen. Okay, so sometimes we have that in sketches that we accidentally click something and we need to, something's over-defined, you can just go back and delete it. Okay, so I'm happy now, exit that. Now let's go into sweep, select that profile again, select that path, and you'll see now it goes nice and happily with no intersecting. Maybe with a tiny bit of intersecting there actually, is there? Okay, there's a tiny bit of intersecting there, so I need to go back and edit that. Okay, just edited that. I didn't think you need to watch me do that again. So you can see here, now I'm intersect free, and I can click OK to accept that. So this is really useful. One of the most useful things we use sweeps for is when we have, if we add this as our edge of our part, and we want to create maybe a split line between two parts, we can also always pick up an edge, and we can use that edge as our path. So for example, I could sketch on this face, so click on that face, click on sketch. I could just draw a little rectangle from the corner there. And this time, instead of going sweep boss base, if I go to sweep cut just along there, I've got my profile. If I click on that path and I click on that edge, this edge here, that will be my path this time, so you can select any solid geometry as your path. And I can click the tick to accept that. Now you can see here I've just made a really thin surface, so I didn't quite line my initial sketch up. I can go back in that sketch, go back in here, and I can move that up a little bit. There we go. So now I've cut that area out. Okay, so we can use it on any solid geometry, or we can use it where we can create our own curves. So that's a sweep, nice and easy.